I've always had a thing for quirky rhythm-based games. We're talking titles like Elite Beat Agents and Rhythm Heaven, games that pair unique art with cool music and addictive gameplay. So I was super excited when a new challenger entered the ring in the form of Super Dodgeball Beats for Nintendo Switch. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Big thanks to PlayStack for sponsoring this video. Make sure to check out the game by clicking the link in the description down below. Now, this is a single player and multiplayer rhythm title. And I'm sure what has caught your eye is what caught my eye, and that is the gorgeous art. This game is beautiful. It is bold, it is vibrant, it is colorful, and it is clean. I think I'd play anything that looked like this because I'm just such a fan of what they've done with the art style. And thankfully, they don't waste it just on human characters, but it gets a little wild as well. But let's back things up and set up the gameplay. What the heck are you doing in this game? It's called Super Dodgeball Beats, but it's much more rhythm-based than it is sport-based. So if you're not a fan of dodgeball or you're not a fan of sports, it's okay. It's just a cool conceit for them to set up the playing field and set up the way you activate the different beats. You've got 4 players on your team, and they're oriented on the playing field in the exact same pattern as the face buttons on your Joy-Con or Pro controller. So this makes things real simple. One button corresponds to one player, and you'll have to hit different beats that kind of correspond to different moves in dodgeball. You've got super simple beats that you just tap out, and that kind of makes me think of a simple throw. Then you've got longer beats that you'll have to hold, and that makes me think of a charged up throw. We also have passes, which are the ones where you move the joystick, transferring the beat from one character to another. And it sounds simple on the surface, but like any good rhythm game, as they speed things up, as they introduce new quirks, and as they bring in tempo changes, speed ups, and slowdowns, this game gets challenging. Yes, early on, you will be perfecting your songs. There's 18 of them here, and you'll be rolling right through your opponents. Sometimes it's other school teams, because that's kind of how this is set up. You're a school club that plays dodgeball. You're going to beat all the other schools in your league to work your way towards the different championship ranks, but it's not just kids that you have to contend with. There are bosses as well. So you've got big T-Rex suits, you got aliens, you got weird samurai guys, you even have a team all full of those cats that wave at you non-stop, and they're my go-to favorite to face. For me, one of the most frustrating parts of a rhythm game is that I always want to be perfect, and I never can be. Like, I'd have to replay the songs over and over and over again. And if that's your playstyle, more power to you. I envy your dedication. But I love that Super Dodgeball Beats almost says it's okay to not be perfect. And the way they say that is via the power-ups. You will be sending power-ups at your opponent, and your opponent will be sending power-ups at you. Things to distract and obscure and make it much more difficult and sometimes almost impossible to hit your beats unless you are a rhythm pro. Now, I personally like this because it's fun to acquire different power-ups as you move through the campaign and send them at your opponent, and it's even better when it's multiplayer and a real person next to you on the couch. But I also love the power-ups because they do make it harder to hit beats, and that makes me feel okay about missing some. And it made the experience much more enjoyable and much more fun for me. I could enjoy the beautiful art. I could enjoy the crazy characters. I could enjoy the interesting original music tracks without having to worry about getting every single beat perfect. There's the typical early, great, late, or miss system here, and as long as you're not missing, you will continue to build your combo meter and work your way towards a higher rank. I sit pretty in the B tier, and honestly, I'm pretty happy with that. I've gotten some A rank medals, but the game does pick up, and once you enter the second championship, boy do they find ways to work those beats in really tricky patterns. I will note that there have been a few times where the beats don't seem to match up exactly to the music, and that's kind of thrown me off, and I do wish there were more than 18 songs, because they're pretty good. But they do a nice job of making them feel fresh by really mixing up the beats and the patterns that you have to perform. But once you hit your rhythm, this game grooves. Because it's dodgeball themed, the goal here is to defeat the other squad. And that's another way the game reduces the emphasis on getting a perfect score. Because as long as the ball sits on your side of the scoreboard by the end of the song, you're a winner. And if you're really dedicated, you can also go for that perfect score. But I like that the goal here is pretty sporty, and you're just trying to defeat your opponent. Like I mentioned, the first few songs/battles are pretty easy, but you're going to need that practice to work yourself up to a point where you can face off against this evil alien and all of his tentacles that seem to hit the beats so perfectly, especially when they're coming that fast. How does he do it? The songs are 2.5 to 3 minutes, and after each you'll earn some XP that will help you unlock new power-ups and new mascots, because the character in the back of your squad is your mascot and helps supply you with a couple of power-ups. As I mentioned, they'll distract your opponent from being able to hit beats or place grenades on the field requiring perfect strikes. It adds another flair to your rhythmic movements because you'll have to hit one of the triggers in order to deploy the power-up, and they're very fun to use and see in effect. But as much fun as they are in single player, they are 10 times as fun in multiplayer. And honestly, that's where Super Dodgeball Beats may shine the brightest. I don't know that I've ever played a competitive rhythm game against someone sitting next to me. Usually these are solo affairs, often portable. But it's very rewarding to know that you are besting the person sitting next to you. And if they're besting you, well, send a power-up over and force them to squirm and worm their way through the next couple seconds of the song. The back and forth, the ebb and flow is really good in Super Dodgeball Beats, and you'll be struggling to keep your attention focused on your characters because you'll want to see what your opponent's doing, and you'll want to look up and notice the scoreboard to make sure you're in command. I'm super glad they decided to go the dodgeball route with Super Dodgeball Beats, because I'm sure that helped make multiplayer a much more natural inclusion here. Plus the power-ups, the teams, the mascots, the characters, the crazy art, it just all works. And at $12.99, it's a really good pickup. We can talk and talk about the details of this game, but you and I both know that rhythm games live or die based on their music, their flow, and their feel. So let's check out a full song now and see what you think.
Sigma Nerds Club versus the Nicotine Gang. Dodgeball.
Not too shabby, not too shabby. That's me earning an A rank medal against a crazy squad of kittens. What do you guys think of Super Dodgeball Beats? Let me know in the comments down below. I've been having a lot of fun with this one, and it's really the art style plus the dodgeball theming that makes this one stand out. And then that multiplayer element, I'm telling you, rhythm against a friend, maybe it makes him a foe for a bit, but it is a ton of fun. And slapping those power-ups across the battlefield is a really good time. So give me your take about the game in the comments. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Are you going to pick this one up? I want to know and hear from you. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest and greatest from the Switch and games like this one. And until next time, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. SwitchForce out.